Oh, yeah. Interesting. Well, another day, another time to speak about the things that are taking place in our world. The number one question today is love misunderstood, and is love more naive than it is blind?
Bless you.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Pastor's Q&A. How are y'all doing? I guess y'all know who I am. And this is my beautiful wife, the lovely. Slide over so they can see you on the camera.
I don't like the sofa.
You don't like this sofa?
No.
I don't like this sofa either.
I'm into it.
We'll definitely move it once the movie is done. And get a new desk. And new lights. I'm sorry. Say, Pastor Q,
Hi, y'all.
how's everything?
It's going.
It's going.
Yes.
Don't be like that. So make sure that y'all like, share, give us a thumbs up, say hello, sing your shots out, tell people that we're live and we're on.
Me and this hair just ain't getting along too well these
You-
last couple of weeks. Who is that?
I don't know who that is.
And
The dog
why
about to go
are they
find out.
coming? Oh. That's who that is.
That's who that is. So, me and my wife, well, I ran across this clip on YouTube. And the clip is from at Hustle in the Hood, or something to that effect. So however that may go. But anyway, came across this clip, and this is what I originally saw.
How much work I put in to do that.
To cuddle?
No, for your family. I woke up at 8 in the morning and went to the grocery store and had to hunt down a bunch of stuff, figure out the grill, do all that was work. And after that, I came back and did the dishes. If you sat here and grilled a whole meal for my whole family and I come back to dishes in the sink, I'm not gonna ask you to do the dishes. I'm probably just gonna do them. Maybe I didn't communicate that, sure. However, if I have to communicate that, I am not the one for you.
Do not try to make it seem like I'm not here doing my part at all. We're not going to spin it like that. I've been given such a negative response, a temper tantrum sometimes, like an attitude. I just don't understand it. If it's about the dishes, me going to sleep, a text, all of that, it's the slap in the face.
I'm glad you feel that way. There's a lot I could respond to, but there is no scenario that I see myself standing there and saying yes to making you my wife forever. And with that in mind, I'm glad we can at least agree that I don't ever want to see you again. I don't think you really...
Now, I saw that and I was like, ooh, somebody is not happy. And somebody has been complaining about the same thing over and over again. So I decided to bring this to my wife. And I played this same clip for my wife. And your response was?
There had to be a buildup. Like from listening to the conversation, there's more than just that. That led to his decision.
So you said there had to be build up.
Yeah, there had to be other things that led up to this point. Hey, Pumpkin.
And why do you, just based on what you just saw? So first, I asked you, did you agree with him?
No, that's not what you asked me.
That's not what I asked you?
No.
I didn't ask you if you agreed with him.
No, you asked me, did he go too far? That's what you asked me. And my response was, I don't know, but I think that there was buildup. There was other situations that led up to here. From listening to what he said, it wasn't just a out of the blue thing. That's the conversation that we had.
Got you. And but then you also mentioned that this had been building up or had to be building up for a period of time. This is not just something that...
Sir, we done repeated that 3 times.
This is not something that just happened. So I decided to say, okay, because based on what he said, we both agreed, just in the context where what we saw, that he was right. Some things should not be, some things are just left unsaid. So now we decided to go and see things.
Look at the entire picture.
In its context. Mm-hmm. And based upon, so we saw everything that led up to this point. We didn't see past this point because I wanted to see how, for me, I wanted to see how we actually got to this point, because I wanted to see, did he constantly repeat himself? Was he constantly saying the same thing? Was he constantly, like, was this really the problem that he portrayed it to be? And just going back, watching certain content and certain things, you said that you felt he was in the car right before you got the phone call. I asked you, I was like, so this is how we got to here. They was talking about her going to sleep, and I was like, the cameras being cut off, because we had an opportunity to see the entire
I didn't say he was
clip.
right or wrong. I said I don't know how he went from one place to the next in 2 days.
So apparently this conversation took place within a 2-day.
No, it was a conversation that was the outcome of
2 days.
what happened the 2 days prior. At least that's the way it looked. So did you tell them where this came from?
So that's where I was about to go. So this clip came from
Love is Blind season
7.
All right.
Right. So there's a TV show that's out. It's called Love is Blind. And you have you have X amount of women on one side, X amount of men on another side. And then they go into what they call pods. So I guess the basis of the show is finding love or finding marriage potential based on conversation only.
Finding love, right?
Right. Finding love based on conversation only. And in the process of finding in this, the conversation only, hello, how y'all doing? Whoever that is. Finding conversation only, y'all don't get to see each other until the man proposes to the woman. So while y'all are in these pods, y'all are sitting back, really trying to get to know one another. So let me ask you, just based on that theory, being able to get to know just talking to somebody talking to several people, is it truly possible to find love based on that setup?
I think it can. I mean, I think it's possible. Anything is possible.
Is your mic on?
Yeah. Can you not hear me? Hello?
There we go.
Anything is possible. Honestly, I kind of like the way that they have that set up. Now, I don't like once they have proposed and they go into moving in together and living for a certain amount of time together. And that's where I think relationships get screwed up, because that's when you start sleeping with people, and that's where people lose their mind. But when you get to know someone for their mental capacity, you get to see who they are, where their mind is, what's important, what's not important. You get to see what that person is made of mentally, versus looking at someone being infatuated by lust.
So pretty much based on the theory of just sitting back to get to know someone through conversation,
Yeah.
it's a possibility that it can work. So let me ask this. What is the possibility of it not working?
I don't know. That's a possibility too, because people just don't match.
So you said people just don't match. So
Where you going?
So
what are
does
you
this,
trying to get
so
at?
does this come in as building up the theory of,
Can we
hey,
have a conversation and stop just asking questions? Come on, let's talk. What you got?
I'm trying to talk to you, and the best way for me to talk is to be able to ask you a question so I can, because I'm looking at this whole theory of
What theory?
the theory of we're sitting in a pod, and I'm not just talking to you, I'm also talking to 20 other different people. So in the process of sitting down talking to other people, am I actually truly giving you all of me, or am I giving you a...
Well, you don't go in first off trying to truly give every person all of you. It's the same way as if you were dating. Only difference is you don't get to see the person. The same way you date somebody, you talk to them, you figure out who they are. So it's the same thing. You're dating different people, having conversations with them to get to the same point.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So that's like me dating you, this one, and this one. I don't see you, but we're having conversation. So what is the chances of me having mixed, or if you was talking to me and three more other dudes, what's the chances of you having mixed feelings or bringing a feeling?
You're going to have mixed feelings, but you're going to have a stronger feeling for somebody. It's going to be somebody that you connect more with than everybody else.
Interesting.
It's just going to happen. It's a numbers game in everything.
Okay, but we're talking about you're sitting here trying to find your significant other.
It's still a numbers game in everything. You're going to find somebody you're compatible with at any point.
Okay, so you said that there's a part of the show that you don't like. And this is after they come out, they tend to go ahead and propose to each other. And then
They're engaged
to be married.
and then they live together.
So even before they live together, they send them to a getaway?
No, they're living together in the getaway.
Right. So do you think that causes a greater damage to the experiment itself?
I just said that's when folks start sleeping together and lose their mind. Maybe just a little Q.
So what do you mean by lose their mind?
People start sleeping together and they lose their mind. When you start sleeping with people, your thought process changes.
Okay, so we saw a couple who the guy didn't want to sleep with the girl. He wanted to remain celibate. But she still lost her mind.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. Remember, she
did
got
not.
upset because they...
She did not lose her mind. She was upset because she didn't feel like they were becoming intimate because they had not had sex. That's not her losing her mind. That's just her wanting what she wanted.
Okay, so what would be the difference?
Losing your mind is becoming infatuated with somebody because you slept with them. Or you start overlooking things because you slept with them. You literally, when you start, I know people say, you don't know somebody, or you test drive a car or whatever you're saying. Yeah, whatever. But when you add sex to the mix, it changes the dynamics. You become soul tied.
Hey V, what's up, Stevie Steve? Hey Miss Shantae, how's everybody?
Where you see all these people?
I see them on
So why they not up there?
Facebook because they haven't said anything.
Oh, hey y'all.
So type something good, say something so we can know that y'all in here, so we can acknowledge you for being in here, and we thank y'all for being here.
Okay, come on now. Let's finish this conversation because I'm trying to figure this out.
Right, so I'm just saying, like...
You just asked me a whole bunch of questions. Let's have a conversation. Let's get it.
I'm looking at it from this perspective, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you. And I'm talking to you for a span of what? 30 days?
I don't know.
Q, this is what, 30 days in the pod? No, it's 7 days. So it's only 7 days in the pod?
The rest of the time, they go on vacation with each other.
That's what, 7 days?
They meet the parents and friends. And then
So the whole experiment is 30 days.
the whole thing is 30 days.
So in 30 days, you're to find... Steve said I did already. I don't see it popping up.
Yeah, there we go. Yep, there it is. All right. There we go.
So I'll leave that up and I'll go to YouTube.
All right.
So it's a 30-day experiment, 7 days. So 7 days I pick the wife or the woman I claim to be my wife. So Stevie Steve, do you think that you can find a woman that you can say you would spend the rest of your life with in 7 days? Is that possible? Do you think that you can find a husband in 7 days?
I think it's possible. Because really, you need to figure out if y'all are on the same path.
So that means for 2 days, you have to play process of elimination.
They got 7 days.
Right.
That ain't 2 days.
But what I'm saying is I have to be on the chopping block from day one.
Well, you're going to be on the chopping block because you're not going to connect with everybody that you talk to. It's some folks you're going to talk to and you're going to be like, yep, no, no.
Stevie Steve says no. Shantae, if you're still on here, can you find somebody, Mom, Miss Vegas? Can you say that you can find a person you're gonna spend the rest of your life with in 7 days?
I think about arranged marriages. They don't know the person at all. But those usually last a lifetime. And those still happen today.
You're right, but most arranged marriages is there's a standard and a principle behind them, in which both parties come to the table understanding that.
But if you're there, that's the point in talking to people. You're getting to know them. You're going to know the standard. You're going to know what, that's the point in the pods. You're literally, from what we've seen, they get deep in these pods. Like, it's not a surface thing. Like, they're literally becoming vulnerable with one another.
So
V said, nah.
So my thing is, if everybody is so vulnerable and we get so deep, then how do we get to the point of the clip that we shown? And for those who didn't see the clip, can I replay the clip? So I'm gonna replay the clip for those who didn't see the clip. How do we get here? Well, before I even play the clip, let me say this. Because we saw this clip, and like we said, I brought this clip to my wife. I was listening to what the dude said, and I was like, you know what?
Hey.
I was like, you know what? He's kind of correct. Certain things.
Well, play the clip.
Okay.
That's how much work I put in to do that.
To cuddle?
No, for your family. I woke up at 8 in the morning and went to the grocery store and had to hunt down a bunch of stuff, figure out the grill, do all that was work. And after that, I came back and did the dishes. If you sat here and grilled a whole meal for my whole family and I come back to dishes in the sink, I'm not gonna ask you to do the dishes. I'm probably just gonna do them. Maybe I didn't communicate that, sure. However, if I have to communicate that, I am not the one for you.
Do not try to make it seem like I'm not here doing my part at all. We're not going to spin it like that. I've been given such a negative response, a temper tantrum sometimes, like an attitude. I just don't understand it. If it's about the dishes, me going to sleep, a text, all of that, it's the slap in the face.
I'm glad you feel that way. There's a lot I could respond to, but there is no scenario that I see myself standing there and saying yes to making you my wife forever. And with that in mind, I'm glad we can at least agree that I don't ever want to see you again. I don't think.
So I saw this clip. I saw this as you call that thing on YouTube? A reel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a short. I saw this as a short. So seeing this as a short, I was like, okay, he went to go get the
Food.
He went to go get the food. He cooked for the family. He prepared everything. He hosted your family. And this is not the first time, but I didn't know that this was Love is Blind when I saw the clip. And then it was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, and I washed the dishes. So it's like, you know, then when she was like, well, do I have to wash the dish? You know, he was like, well, sorry if I didn't communicate that, but that should not be that didn't have to be communicated. And in my mind, I was like, you're absolutely right. I don't think that had to be communicated. If my wife came home cooked.
Q added something. We was looking for that, Q. We couldn't find that part.
Well, see, so I was going to go there. So now I saw the clip. I brought the clip to my wife. We were sitting here like, my wife was like, it has to be more to that. This conversation is a build-up conversation. This is not a conversation that just happened, you know, overnight. So I went and I screenshot the guy and Googled him to find out where the clip came from. Come to find out, it came from a show that our daughter has kind of suckered us into watching at times called Love is Blind. Right. Don't look like that. So I understand how the show worked. So, but I didn't know it was just 30 days. I thought they spent 30 days in the pod, and then they spent a week away, and then they got like maybe 30 days to get back home and get things acclimated to living with each other, and then they get married. I didn't know it was 7 days to communicate, to find somebody that I want to propose to, because you never get to see these people. That's number one. I never get to see you. We talk to each other behind closed doors, and then I be like, okay, I don't like you, but I like you, so I'm gonna keep talking to you. And then when you say something stupid, then
It's a process of elimination.
it's right. But the crazy part is, I might like somebody who one of the other dudes might like. So me and Stevie Steve, we see each other every day, and I'm like, Stevie Steve, I'm feeling Mama Q. But Stevie Steve is also feeling Mama Q. And then Stevie Steve would try to sabotage the relationship between me and Mama Q.
It doesn't always be that way.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a whole lot that's going on, right? So once I found out that this was Love is Blind, I was like, oh, let's see how we got here. I didn't want to see the parts of the pod because y'all two have already chosen each other. So I did get to, I think it was about episode 4 or 5. They was on this island, beautiful island, and they went out at night. The problem was they didn't show the argument of the two of them. We didn't find out.
Malum.
Hey, sis. He said the show dynamic is wild, but it's juicy to watch. You're absolutely right. Hey. So my thing was, we didn't see the argument between the two of them. But I knew something was wrong when she woke up in the morning and he was coming through the front door. Because once you get to the beach, Stevie Steve, everybody is in the room together. Everybody is sharing this room together. What's he said?
It's always me.
It's always you. Because I know I can get the pick on you, Stevie Steve. Everybody else is sensitive. So the thing is, we knew it was a problem because he came in like it was a problem. Mm-hmm. And he didn't come out the back room. Mm-mm. He knocked at the front door. Mm-hmm. So I was like, wait a minute. Hold on for a second. So now he comes in and he explains that they had an issue after the party. Now, what I find to be interesting is they showed everybody else who was at the party except the two of them.
No, wait. Because Q put in there with she heard some of the arguments, so therefore we didn't see that part. So they had to play.
Did they play the argument? They didn't play the argument.
No, they had a discussion
about the argument. So
okay.
That's what we saw.
Okay.
So we saw the discussion that morning, the next morning about the argument. She was arguing with him. He felt like he couldn't get a word in. She put her hand over his mouth. He kept explaining to her that he liked to be, he liked to be heard. And if he can't be heard, then that becomes a problem. So now, here we are. So now we're at the place where they leave from that. I don't see them no more till it's time for them to meet her parents. So yes, what we do see in the process of him meeting her parents is we do see him cleaning.
This is what we see him.
We see him.
What
this
he's
is the
referring
part he's
to
talking about in the video.
in the clip.
So we see him cooking the meat, preparing the food. He's up early. He's grilling.
Now wait, I do want to say this. This caught me because when we were looking at this part, she told all of her family except her father what she was doing. So she literally, she took her engagement ring off, and she had just told him, like, for the first time, that her father knew nothing about none of this. So they had to go in and pretty much, they said that they were together. They said that they were living together. But this was his first time meeting the family.
Right.
He had to get a feel for the dad and then ask for her hand in marriage.
Right.
So that right there, that blew me, because if it had been me, I would have felt some type of way if you could have gone through all of this. And even if you had told me at the beginning in the pods, my dad doesn't know that this is what's going on.
Right.
This is where I am. I think it wouldn't have, it just did something to me that, like, we're about to meet your parents, and this is the first time that I'm hearing that your dad don't know nothing about this, and we're engaged. And but he was a good sport. I'm sorry.
Right. So he played good, and in the process of that, he asked dad for the hand. He wrote a letter to her in the pod, but the letter was actually for the dad.
Right.
So he
It was
went and
addressed
asked the
to the
dad.
dad.
It was addressed to the dad. He went to the dad. He asked the dad. They both started crying. He gave him the okay, bam, 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 bam. Great. Boom. We don't see nothing else after the couple about that until the next day. His parents drive 10 hours up from Georgia. He said he's from Augusta. So I'm assuming that they in Augusta because it's being filmed in D.C., Virginia somewhere. So they drive up 8-10 hours from Augusta.
10 hours.
10
He said
hours.
10 hours.
And then in the process, she talked to his parents. Now, what I find to be very interesting in the part of him talking to her parents is the fact that his mom dominated the conversation. And
Now-
no,
No,
go ahead.
When you say this, I'm gonna point out something to you that happened just today. Go ahead.
So she dominated the conversation, and she was saying that some of his bad traits came from mama.
Well, she didn't say it was a bad trait.
Nor
It didn't
was
say
she
it wasn't.
alluded.
No, she didn't. All she said was, you experienced how he separates himself, and that part of him he gets from me.
Okay, I'll give you that. So now here we are, and mom, they're having a conversation. So now apparently after the cameras go off, because the clip that you see is longer than what we just showed. So in the beginning of the clip that we just showed, dude came into the house. He sit on the couch. He tells her he wants to talk to her. She's eating. She come to the couch. They're sitting there. So he was like, I don't appreciate the fact that when my parents showed up, you know, my parents drove 10 hours to meet you. Then when they did meet you, then you talked to them, and then right when the cameras cut off, you went to sleep. So in my mind, he's saying you was doing it for the camera. As they used to say back in the day, you just doing it for the gram. So she was doing it for the camera.
Now, see, I didn't take that like that.
But that's how he put it out there.
Nah, because it was just kind of a quick, he said it, but it was like a quick passing. And then he didn't even, like...
He didn't go into full detail.
Nah,
But
it was
for him
just...
to mention...
It bothered him. I get that. But I don't think it was just, I think you're doing it for the camera.
Not that you're doing the whole thing for the camera, but that particular moment
Nah.
was, and I guess for the camera to him. So now here we are. So what did he do next at this time? Then that's when he go into about, I was doing this for your parents. I came in, I cooked, I cleaned, I did this, I did that, blah, 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 blah. And it was certain things that he wanted her to do. So he sent her a text message. I guess she didn't respond to the text.
So Q said that was another piece we got more clarity on in the reunion. This guy had some issues, in my opinion, and that was my end. That was my end yesterday.
And so yesterday, so we didn't watch anything past the clip we showed you, because I just wanted to know how did we get here. Really didn't care what happened after the fact. I wanted to know how did we get here. I also paid attention to this. I've been paying attention. This is season 7 of this show, correct? So by this being season 7 of this show, I have been paying attention to the success rate of this show. Now,
Success as in the show success
no,
or
I
the
don't care nothing
couples
about
afterwards?
The couples after success. So now, our daughter tricked us into start watching this in season 1, right?
Now she tricked us.
Then she tricked us. Listen, let me put the close up on so y'all can see me. Then she tricked us, and we sat here and watched season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we waited 2 weeks for season 5 to watch season 5. And then in season 5, they brought back everybody who remained married. Now, what I find to be interesting is they're like 20 women, 20 guys, right? Everybody don't make it. Then couples who do make it, they're usually before the wedding date. There are probably maybe 5 to 6 couples max.
Is it really that many?
Right. From each season, except for the season that we got sucked into, right?
He's just gonna keep saying that.
There were 2 couples, there were 2 people who got married. And then out of the other seasons that we saw, there was like only maybe 1 couple made it down the aisle. So out of 7 seasons, with at least the minimum of 6 couples, that's 42 people. Only about maybe 5 has survived.
You're not getting paid.
Who want to get paid?
Your daughter.
Who said they getting paid?
Come on.
Oh, so now, but this is my thing. So the show is great for entertainment. My sister said the show dynamic is wild, but it's juicy to watch. A lot of other people said the show is entertaining and whatever the case may be. My question becomes, and the crazy part is, this show is hosted by 2 people. 2. What's the guy named? Nick Lachey and his wife. Mm-hmm. These same 2 people were mistreated in their relationship before they got together. Because I believe like Nick got played and his wife got played. But, you know, God works out the good of those who love him. So even though they both got played, they was able to come together and...
That's what we doing?
Listen, we both got played.
Wait. Them people ain't saved. What are you talking about?
God didn't say you had to be saved. He just said
He said for the good of those who love him and are called to his purpose.
But how you know that they ain't saved? And how you know that they don't love him?
How do I know they're not saved?
And how
well,
you know?
Look at the premise of the show.
The premise of the show is for you to find love and to get married.
If they were saved, them folks wouldn't be on there shacking up and having sex.
Listen. People shack up and have sex.
No, sir. No, we not doing it. I'm not even playing with you.
Say folk go to church on Sunday. They left the house.
Sir,
out of the same bed.
Can we get back on topic, please?
We are on topic because you brought it up.
No. Can we get back on topic, please? We not doing it. Not today.
Anyway, so what changes can be made to this show to make this show still keep its edge? Because for you, the bad part about the show is when they go get away.
Yeah, but this ain't a Christian show.
It ain't even about it being a Christian show. I'm asking just a question about the show, period. It's something that I didn't see in no episode. There is no one there giving any mentor or counseling or advice or
Okay, so
or
that's why
anything.
you asked. Come on, give your opinion, sir.
So nobody is really
Y'all see how he tried to ask me because he wanted to say what he wanted to say.
nobody is really being led to marriage. Nobody, and my question becomes, how many people understand what marriage truly is?
Well, that's a good question because from watching them, and not only watching them, but just in life, period. A lot of people don't know what a healthy relationship look like, so they don't. You can't. You can't have. I want to say this the right way.
Say it the right way. Say it how you say it with your chest. Say it how you feeling.
Most people don't know what a healthy relationship, let alone a healthy marriage, looks like.
Okay, so let's say this. Now, this is something that I have seen. Bless you.
Excuse me.
About this show. Majority of the people, at least 85% of the people who are on this show, come from a 2-parent household.
I don't remember seeing that.
Everybody had a mommy and daddy who had been when we was watching the show. When our daughter tricked us into watching this show. I am. When you said say it one more time, great. When our daughter tricked us into watching this show, right? A lot of them came from 2-parent households. The tall guy, the sneaker dude, the sneaker guy in the first when we was watching the
black girl and the black guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They came from 2-parent households.
No.
Yes.
Their parents were still communicating, but they weren't married.
A lot of them were married. Even the guy, the African guy, he was the only one. But the white girl that he was going to be with, her parents were together.
Okay.
Then, who else stood out? The little cute couple who we just knew was going to get married.
Right.
When everybody else didn't get married.
Right.
Her parents had been married for almost 40 years. His parents had been married for almost 40 years.
Okay.
Then the two people that we're talking about, these two people right here.
Right. But we're
Right.
talking about 6 seasons and
Right. But
how
this
many
chick,
couples?
But this chick parents were together.
You just said both of them, they came from 2-parent households. Okay,
Right.
cool beans. But that's like 5 people out of how many people out of how many
No,
seasons?
but what I'm saying is even just sitting back watching, just skimming through, majority of the people that was on this season came from 2-parent households. When they were meeting, while I was skimming through to
I don't
find
know,
these
'cause
couples,
I didn't see that.
I'm skimming. Even in the other seasons we watch, people met people's daddy and mommy. The only time we really
You're
saw
right,
a
they
bad,
did, but it didn't mean that they were together.
but they were saying that they had been married for 20 plus years.
Okay.
And we had the only time we saw the mommy and daddy bad was the little crazy boy who stood the girl up at the altar.
I don't even remember.
The boy who didn't want to be like his daddy but end up becoming like his daddy.
That's the black dude that had the sneakers.
No,
Ain't that the same guy?
that's not the same guy. The guy who had the sneakers, they got married. The guy who had the sneakers was the big tall guy with the funny hair. He was like in the beginning. He was with the
Okay.
same people
I
with
don't
the
know.
African and the white
I
guy.
don't know, but I don't remember all of them people. I don't remember that many. The ones that got married, yes. But there were only like 3 or 4 couples that actually got married. The rest of them, I don't remember them coming from 2-parent households. But I could be wrong, so I'm not going to say you making a...
No, I'm just going based on what you were saying, that they didn't
That's it.
see anything
No, I said they didn't see healthy marriages. And if you want to be honest, that goes to the point because the ones that we did see, their parents may have been married, but they weren't together. We saw quite a few of those.
Okay, so but my
So that means they didn't see healthy marriages.
so that's what I'm saying. So why isn't there anything here leading to marriage? If marriage is the end all
okay,
goal,
so why is there anything that's gonna help them?
get to where they need
Okay.
to be in marriage. If marriage is the end goal for the show.
No, ask the producers.
Me and my wife are available for about $250,000, a $250,000 a year.
Why is it that the show doesn't have like
Why
marriage
isn't there
counselors
anything
or anything
pushing
in there?
towards?
Yeah.
Because I believe the host of the show, Nick and his wife, I really believe that they are looking for people to truly get married and truly find love. I believe that because of how it's structured in the beginning. Because it's not based on me seeing you, it's not based on me lusting after you, it's based on me truly trying to get to know who you are as a individual, a person, to see if we can grow and build as a person. The next step is me getting to see and to know you and to see you face to face. Then I get to spend time with you in a location. And usually people tend to find out who you truly are based upon how you act in certain places.
Absolutely.
Right. Then after that, then I get to find out how you live at home. Because now we go back to visit your parents, your friend, and your home life.
Right. So this is where the rubber meets the road.
Right. So now with that being,
And this is where I get to see what your true views are of marriage and relationships. Because if I could see your parents and I could see how that dynamic is, then I know what you grew up in. I don't know if a lot of people don't pay that any attention. I know when I was younger, I was told, pay attention to how a man treats his mama and his sisters. And for the most part, I did that. But then when I got with my first husband, I didn't pay attention to the dynamics of that. Had I paid attention to the dynamics of that, I probably would have ran.
wow. So, but I was told the same. Pay attention to how a woman treats her mother. Understand the dynamic of what she knows of her father, or if they have, what type of relationship she has with her father. Because based on that,
That's
is
what
based
she
on,
gonna do
and
with
that's
you.
how she's gonna be with you. Whether see if she like God, and all that other things, because those things does play a role in upbringing. But I'm looking at one, I think people are going into this with a naive perception. That's why on the thumbnail it say love is naive. Because I believe people have a preconceived notion of marriage, but they don't know.
It ain't just marriage, it's love, period.
Right. And they have a preconceived notion of love. They have a preconceived notion of marriage. And they really don't know what it truly takes to truly build a relationship. And I also believe that this is where we as the body of Christ have also fallen in another area of life. To me, certain things of the church should be home economic, because the Bible speaks of home dynamic. if that makes sense. So since the Bible speaks of home dynamic, then why aren't we really teaching home? Why have we gotten away from teaching home dynamic? And now it's up to the love guru, it's up to the relationship coach and this person. And when there was a time divorce rates were between 15 to 20%, it is now almost like the single parent home. It has completely flipped, and it now is.
It ain't almost, because that's what leads to the single parent home.
Well, the single parent homes was based upon wedlock, not necessarily divorce and marriage.
Well, it plays a role in that. It
Right, but
still plays a role.
It does. No, what I'm saying is, the reason why I'm saying it that way is because statistically, when they do those, it's not based upon divorce. It's based upon children born in non-marital families.
Okay.
So, but as the body, we don't let it be known. We don't really get into the dynamics of marriage. We don't talk about the importance of family, raising children. We have a singles ministry, but the singles ministry doesn't prepare you. Okay, I'm not going to say all. The ones that I've participated in, I felt like they didn't really prepare you to be single or to be married. They just had you out here willy-nilly. And now you have men in the church going to pop the balloon looking for women to be wives or and that's the name of that show? Pop the balloon?
Yeah.
Bust the balloon?
Yeah.
Right.
So Miss Tyson,
Oh, there go there.
if there's so many reasons why,
Where you see Mama Tyson?
right there.
Oh.
If there's so many reasons why, I need you to name some of them for me.
Can I get three? Three is a good
V
number.
said, say that again.
Say it again.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It just kind of feels like church. I'm looking for my words. Church is led by single leaders. Hallelujah. That is definitely one. I feel like we've begun to lack of marriage ministries within the church, lack of marriages within the church, which lead up to lack of marriage ministries in the church. How about that? Because churches have, have catered to women, and the men have just kind of backed away. The church is focused on money and self-interest. Come on, real transitions and lessons. She is speaking some truth today. I'm just saying. Men have backed away from the church. And what I've seen prior to now is that a lot of women have made their pastors their man which has ran the man from the church or kept them away from the church. And when they come home, they're comparing their husbands to the pastors. And that don't work in a household. Then you have the other side where
They get your pastor beat up.
you have men who have been in the church but have been hurt in church and they've left and don't want to come back. So when you say something about a church, then it's like, oh, nope, not happening. Nope, you done lost it. Lost me, ain't happening. Okay, so then we also have, like Miss Tyson said, churches led by single leaders. Well, that's all they can lead is single people.
Are you sure? You can't take marriage advice from a single person?
I wouldn't take. Okay, so let me
'cause I was gonna
let me say this.
Okay.
I wouldn't take marriage advice from a single person that has never been married.
Well, I'm okay.
Somebody
you this
who has
question before.
never been married can't tell me nothing about marriage.
But I asked you this question before when we were the Wake Bacon Coffee Morning Show. And it's probably been about maybe 2-3 years since I asked this question. And you said that some single people could give married people advice.
Depends on what it is. But when it comes down to marriage advice, they're still selfish.
Wow.
No, I'm telling you, they're still selfish. They don't know what sacrifice means. And they are quick to say what I will not do, what I will not put up with, blah, 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 blah. That's just like someone not having children trying to tell somebody who got children about children.
I'm just saying. So, churches led by single leaders, lack of marriage ministries within the church. And
She said, I'll give a
churches-
pass if the information is biblically sound.
So how about this? To your point number, the church is focused on money and self-interest. I can see that. Churches are led by single leaders. Not all, but a great majority are. But to point two, lack of marriage ministries within the church. So here's the issue that I have with a lot of these ministries. Singles ministry, marriage ministry, men's ministry, woman's ministry, children's ministry. A lot of them don't get together to learn dung. No, I'm just being 100. Because I've been in some men's ministries, and in my mind, when you have a men's ministry, you're going out to teach, reach, empower, put into, pour into men. Not play video games. I understand we can go out, we can hang out every now and then, but that can't be every time we meet. It can't be ha 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 kiki every time we meet. It can't. And to me, this is why the church is focused on money and self-interest, because they have to pay for the men's ministry balling out of control, the women's ministry want to go to the flower shop and walk around and try on dresses, and the men's ministry we playing video games and eating pizza, and the children's ministry is we got to get the PS5. And listen, nobody is pouring into nobody. I'm not going to say all, just the ones that I've been around.
So what?
Just the ones I've been around.
What's no? Because
Because everybody ain't
Some
like
ministries,
you.
we've been in ministries where they don't go out all the time, but they come together. They've come together at the church and did stuff together in the church. Don't play.
What ministry we was a part of? That
I'm not naming no names,
tell me
but
my ear.
they came together in the church,
I don't remember that.
and maybe not the men's ministry, but I know the women did. We came together at the church and we sat down and we had conversations. Now, of course, we might have ordered something to eat or whatever, but we sat there and we prayed. And I think it might be because there's a difference between women and men. So what men decide to do, y'all be bowling and the testosterone stuff is on
Hopscotch.
all. I really men hopscotching. I'm done.
I'm telling you.
But I do feel like there's a difference between a women's ministry and a men's ministry,
Explain.
because women actually pour into one another. When women come together, they have they can have, depending on the group of women, because let's just be honest, we know who we can talk around and who we can't talk around.
Well, here we talk.
We know we know who's who and what's gonna happen with certain people.
That's too many.
So when you have the right group of ladies together, they can sit down and have conversations and pray for each other and pour into each other.
Okay.
So I do see that as a difference between a woman's ministry and a men's ministry.
Okay.
What are you doing, babe?
I was just seeing if there was more comments from the Facebook side.
Okay.
And I'm saying what I'm saying is because I'm looking at, like we're saying, we're looking at the show, Love is Blind. There is no pouring into, because it's like, oh my God, y'all seem to click in the pod. And then it was like, as soon as y'all see each other, it be the meat part.
Excuse me.
Because the only time you see each other face to face is when they're proposing. And I ain't here to put a damper on Love is Blind. I'm just here to be 100. If there is no physical attraction, all of the goody feel good on the inside, there's a great chance that might fade away. And I'm not talking about that I have to be intimate with you to have a physical connection to you. But it has to be something. Like, because you can take the prettiest girl in the room and she can turn out to be the ugliest person in the room just based on her attitude and her conversation.
You're absolutely
and
correct.
You don't want to have nothing to do with her. No matter how good you may think she look.
Okay, now your comments are sounding like they contradicting each
No,
other.
but-
Where are we going with this?
So, however, you don't have to be the gorgeous person in the room. I'm not Denzel, but I'm a damn good second runner up next to him. That's me. Because I carry myself with that confidence. So there may be something that you don't physically like about me, but there can be something physically that you like about me. That also adds to my personality. It adds to, just who I am.
But that comes, it's not physical though. Just like you said, the most gorgeous person can be ugly. It's because of the attitude. It's because of the character. The most ugliest person can be beautiful, But it's not because of a physical, it's because of what's inside.
Right, but I'm just looking at the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people they when they open them doors and you get to see each other for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go out and say at least half of them are not really happy with what they see.
They do. They be looking like they happy with what they see. Now I'm gonna really stand on this one. I ain't seen nobody that just wasn't happy with what they
I'm
saw.
not gonna say that they didn't show, cause I can be like, oh, ooh.
Nah,
Because
I'm not gonna do it. I can't agree with that.
Listen.
Nope.
No.
Because they didn't give no signs that they were not physically happy with what they saw. None of them.
So why don't it work?
It ain't because of the physical.
But
From
why?
the show, the scenes that we've seen is because of personality.
But you were supposed to get the personality.
But
in
you
the
don't.
pod.
You don't know. You get to know someone's mental, but you don't really get to know you don't truly get to know somebody until you get to see them in action with other people. The pods is to see if we have things in common and where we are mentally just with us. But when you drop somebody in the midst of other people, and whether that be family, friends, or just in a public setting, now you get to see how does this person switch personalities when they're with other people?
Of course. So I think you said sometimes
They're not able to match the face with the voice and personality.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's almost like, whoa, like I was expecting you to be a little bit more darker, but you're prettier, lighter. I was expecting you to be a brunette. But
Right,
you know,
but
you're
that ain't
talking
what
about
you
it,
just said. You said 50% of them are not happy with what they see. That ain't the same thing.
Okay, well, maybe I'm saying it wrong then. This is a show based on emotional connection. That's the basis. And that, okay, so now.
And that's what I'm saying.
So it's
an emotional connection.
But how many
But
real
then when
married-
you drop people into a setting where it's not just you and them, now you get to see, wait a minute, this is their character.
But how many married people honestly know that marriage is not built on an emotional basis? You can't live your married life in an emotional state.
You gonna learn that in the first year. What are you talking about?
This show is based on emotional connection.
Right, that's for the beginning stage. You asked why don't it work after they came face to face. The emotions is what connected them. That's what got them to being engaged. Now, once we come out of that, now we got to drop you in the midst of reality in the world. So now we got to see what this look like. Because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where character comes in.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So why?
Yeah, exactly. They honeymooning until they get outside in the real world. Go on Facebook since I already got what's called it put up.
I'm just, making. Hey, Uncle David. Hey, Charlita. I guess for me, I'm looking at this from, the show is great. Nobody's mad at the show. It's amazing. Blase blah.
People can only wear masks for so long. It's easier behind closed door.
Exactly.
Boom. And that's why it don't work.
But if I'm pouring out to you who I claim to be, because these people are saying that this is who they are.
Sweetheart. We all know that some people have one thought of them. What they it's one thing when you get to know people and you hear them from their point of view.
Right.
Because most people make themselves sound like angels. Most people make themselves sound like they are from saving grace. But then when you get them in reality and you see them, especially behind closed doors, up close and personal, you start saying, whoa, wait. What you said don't match what your actions is saying.
Words and behaviors are two different things.
Hello.
Okay, so now why would a logical person think that talking to you through a wall is going to give me everything I need to know within 7 days that you are the person that's for me?
You're not. I don't think that they think they're going to get everything that they need to know. The goal is to go here
This
and
man
find
wrote a letter to this man's daddy saying you
this woman's daddy.
To this woman's daddy saying, oh my God, I was told to give gratitude, so I'm gonna say thank you. And then now I need to say thank you for raising her and for being there, and she is the best
And he
thing
thought
for
that
me.
he had found his one, and that's cool. But everybody doesn't think like that. But if I'm going on there and I'm meeting this person and we done made it up to this point, then yes, I probably do think this is who I'm supposed to be with. Like you're going in. The fact of the matter is, when they go, they're going with the intentions of finding a husband or wife. They're not going with it's just like coming into a marriage and having divorce being the first thing on their mind. They're not going with divorce on their mind. They're going with the thought that I'm going to get married. So if I'm going in there with this hope and I'm going in there with this thought, this is what I'm looking for. It's that optimistic point of view. Am I making sense to anybody? Or am I just out there? Maybe I think different. I don't know.
I mean, I get you going in with a optimistic point of view. I'm not saying don't go in being optimistic.
Well, I mean, Q said it's like keeping a kid in a bubble because a parent doesn't want them to get sick. Of course they won't get sick so long as they're in the bubble. Once they get outside, they're susceptible to the elements.
Right. So now, but my question becomes, I guess for me, maybe people don't ask the right questions, or the right questions are not being asked in the pods. Because I've never really heard anybody ask about scenarios. They ask who your mama, how many brothers and sisters you got, I mean, because you can test the element.
No, you can't, because they're going to tell you what you want to hear.
Not necessarily, because I just think that
Think about the one couple. Okay, so it was a white couple. The girl, she liked two men. Both of the men wanted to be with her. She told one guy she was going to be with him, and then the other guy, she told him she was going to be with him. It wasn't until the one guy, I can't remember what she
asked the question. He asked a
right,
great question.
But he asked her, did she like him or love him? What was it?
He asked her a question that took her outside in the element. As Q said, you're sick until you're released in the element. So now he brought reality to her inside of the bubble, and she couldn't answer the question.
I don't think we're talking about the same person.
We're talking about the big goofy guy with
No,
the
that wasn't.
foolish white girl who was in love with the other guy who
No,
ended
that
up,
wasn't who I was talking about. But okay, I remember them too.
because remember they wanted
Again, that wasn't who I was talking about, but I remember who you're talking about now.
Okay.
Okay.
You say, yeah, it makes sense. It's two sides. Being so married driven can blind you and have you wearing rose-colored glasses and make things clear so you focus on right. So if I'm going, it's okay to go in saying I'm looking for a wife or I'm looking for a husband. I'm not knocking that. And like I said, even the host and his wife, Nick and his wife, and I believe the producers want people to truly find love, because if the odds of you finding love here means more people would come here, means I have more seasons on Netflix. It's like you said earlier, it's a numbers game. So now my thing is, I feel that there should be some way, somehow, a intermediate to really help push to marriage. Prime example, the little boy who kept crying about not wanting to be like his daddy.
Right.
Right. He knew he didn't want to be with her. She really didn't want to be with him. But because of the circumstances that took place back in the quarter area where everybody is talking to each other, makes you switch and change your mind on certain things. Because conversations are being, like I told you yesterday, there are things that are being edited. We're filming everything, but we're cutting everything so I can condense it to give the public something to watch. So in the public space where all the girls are, where all the guys are, they are talking about their conversations. They're talking about how they feel. They're talking about the other person that they just had a conversation with or who they just spent the hour with in the pod. So now you was like, oh, well, I like Anthony, but Anthony sounds like he likes her because of what he just said to her. So that changes your trajectory of Anthony, which will make you pick Paul because of something that was said, not because of something that you experienced. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I'm trying to connect where you're going from what you said.
What I'm saying is there is nothing. This is why I was like, something should be there to help push towards the marriage.
All you saying is you want them to add some kind of marriage counseling or something
Not
that's
even
going to
just
lead them
add
there.
the marriage, is more so of having someone who is not invested to be an advocate in the middle. Like, I know you like Johnny. But just because Anthony said this to Paula doesn't mean that Anthony wants to be with Paula. So before you jump off the ledge and want to run to Paul, how about you ask real questions instead of, as Q said, this honeymoon thing?
So this is what I see. It's the same scenario in real life. I'm dating you, but I'm going back to my girlfriends talking about what's being said or how things, and everybody is giving their assumption on what you are thinking, saying, and doing.
right? Instead of you asking the person what they're really thinking, saying, and doing. That's the point that I'm making. And again, there still should also be a push towards marriage as opposed of having a great time. Because I get you. I see you. Oh my God, Shaquita, you're. Oh my God, I just been waiting for you. And then I propose to you and I say, will you do me the honor of being my wife? Because you're so beautiful and oh my God, I connect with you. And
Y'all, I
now,
can't stand him.
now I see you face to face. And now since I see you face to face, it's like peanut butter and jelly on white bread.
Done.
Then we get to Maui or wherever they sending us, and this is where the training should happen. This is where the real conversation should happen.
But this is where you get to see who people really are.
You don't.
You do.
No.
Let me tell you why. Because this is where you get to see who's for real and who ain't. You get to see how Billy responds to Sally because he chose me.
But he really likes Sally.
So let me see how you maintain when we get out here in this real world and you got to be around me and Sally. Because, see, that's when your character going to come up.
But Sally looked better than you.
But again, like I said, that's when your character comes up. Now I get to see if you really like me or you really like Sally. Now I get to see if you're just a if you're just in it for the looks. Now I get to see if you're I'm trying to think of the word that I'm trying to say, but I can't think of it.
If you're really in it for the relationship.
Right. Are you really in it for the relationship? Or like you said, because you feel like Sally looks better than me, now you over there, you saying you engaged to me and we going back to this house together, but when we're out in front of people, you slobbering all over Sally. So again, this is where I get to see who you really are, because whether or not you want to see it this way, how they respond in that environment with other people is going to be how they respond when they get back home and they're in an environment with other people.
I mean, I get that point, and I'm not.
So that's what I mean when I say you get to see who people are. Are you shallow? There we go. I was trying to look for that word shallow. So that's what I'm saying when I say you get to see who people are. You get to see who they really are.
You do. But what I'm saying is there's still not any encouragement.
Yeah, but you see you going back and forth, because 1 minute is no, because you still don't get to see who they are. I just gave you why you get to see who they are. I'm not arguing with what you're saying. Yes, I do agree. They need somebody that's going to lead them to marriage. Yes, I do agree. But they can't even think about that until they understand what relationship is. And to be honest, what they need is going to take longer than them 30 days.
Exactly. So let me ask this question.
It's a TV show.
I know it's a TV show. But you know what they say.
No, they say.
Arts and entertainment derive from real life.
You're absolutely correct.
So this TV show, to me, is a copycat of reality.
It is.
Right. Now,
it's just condensed.
It is. Now, how do we especially with young people that are coming up, how do we now begin to change the trajectory of marriage? Because now a lot of people don't even want to be married. Marriage is now taboo.
Well, that's because of what they've seen in their own households
I get that, but regardless
and
of
what
where
they've seen in their families and what they've seen in their churches, and it's all what they have experienced and seen, so they don't want nothing to do with marriage. TV is just the icing on the top.
that's what I'm saying. So how do we change the trajectory?
No, I'm pointing that out because the way you said that was like, if we change the show, then we're going to change the trajectory.
Oh no, not changing the show. 'Cause
Okay.
we,
Let's get that part straight. The show has nothing to do with why these kids don't want to get married right now.
Oh no.
Okay. So we have to do better, as my mother said so eloquently the other day when we were together. Older people got to take responsibility for what they've done to these kids. So we have to be willing to go back and teach kids about healthy marriages. You see me with my kids, I'm always apologizing. I'm always trying to talk to them. Hey, do this, do that. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to make the same mistakes as me. We have to go back and say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my mistakes affected you this way." So let me teach you the better way. Let's work on having healthy relationships here in the house. So when you go out there, you know what a healthy relationship looks like. At least if you don't know nothing else, you know a healthy relationship between you and I. So from how we communicate with one another, you should know how somebody else should communicate with you. Versus continuing the cycle. One thing that I see that's with relationships is that two broken people can't have a healthy relationship because they don't know what it looks like. And that's what we have a whole line of. You got all these broken people that are coming together as broken people trying to have healthy relationships, and it does not work that way. So if you never experienced a healthy relationship as a child or seen healthy relationships as a child, you don't know what that looks like. All you know is drama and foolishness. So you go into relationships thinking that that's normal. And that's how your relationships are supposed to be. Because that's what you know. So the first place, we would have to have a whole generation of grown folks take responsibility for their foolery.
You think that would happen?
No.
Why?
Because there's a whole generation who still want to be, they still think that they are their kids' age, and they're still behaving as if they are their kids, and they want to be their kids' friends versus their kids' parents. So they don't really want to be the role model unless they're sticking up for their kids, and when the kids act a fool, then they want to go fight somebody else for trying to teach their child right. So no. Because we got a whole generation of broken people who don't want to say they broken, but they want to keep living the brokenness.
Interesting.
You ain't got nothing to say?
Want some water?
You ain't got nothing to say?
You want some water? Bring your mama some water. Cool off in here. No, I mean, but I agree with you. I believe that there has to be there has to be a Romans 12:2. There has to be a renewing of the mind.
Absolutely.
And until we can renew the mind, the body will never be renewed.
Absolutely.
I also believe that not only should this needs to be handed down everywhere. And I guess because this is the pastor's Q&A, I'm always still looking at this through the lens of the body. How can we improve as the body? Not to beat up on the body, not to condemn the body, but how can we be better as the body?
Teaching people their identity in Christ. All things go back to identity in Christ.
So I saw something, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before yesterday. This guy was saying he was in prayer and God was like, am I a part of your life or am I the center of your life?
Wow.
And he was like, I would assume that you would be. He said, I really don't know how to answer that question, Lord. And he said, the Lord told him, I'm a part of your life.
And he wants to be the center.
And when you make me just a part of your life, then you wonder why other things in your life are out of control. Because I can only be a part of what you want me to be a part of. But if I am the center of your life, then I am into everything in your life. And when I'm into everything in your life, then that puts me in the center, which means, he said, a lot of people feel that God is in the center, but they don't. How you know God is in the center is because you consult God, you seek him, and you also move as if I go this way, how would this reflect him? How would this make him look? It's everything will come back to him. If I make this decision, how would that make God look? How would that affect him? How would that affect our relationship? So when you're speaking about identity, I believe a lot of people have God as a part of them and not in the center of them. And we really haven't been truly taught how to walk these things out.
I dare to disagree only because I don't even think that they have God as a part of them.
I mean, they you know.
I don't even believe that a lot of people have God as a part of them. I think that God is what's the word? Obligation, but not a part of them.
That's different. That's deep.
That's just my opinion. God is an obligation. They see God as an obligation. Because I see you as an obligation, I'm going to go to church when I'm supposed to. But that don't mean that I'm not engaging in reading the Bible. I'm not engaging in prayer every day. I'm not engaging in none of that except for when I go to church.
And again, that's what I'm saying, because we haven't been taught that this is something that you walk on the outside. It's more important outside of the church than it actually is inside of the church.
What do you mean?
So we're talking about marriage. Mm-hmm. So if we taught marriage,
well, no, I'm just saying,
even based on what you're saying too.
Yeah, I'm just basing it on what you were just talking about. How you were saying the guy was God asked the guy, is he
A part
at the
of.
center or is he a part of? And you said, I feel like a lot of people have God as a part of. And I said, no, I disagree. I feel like a lot of people are more so of God as an obligation. He's not a part of, neither is he a center. Center is a few, a part of maybe a little bit more than a few, and then the majority is he's an obligation. And that would be why we have so many that are not married that don't want to be married, because they really don't understand relationship. When you understand relationship, when you understand your identity in Christ, then you understand what it means to enjoy being married. Most people don't want to be married because they don't see marriages, happy marriages, vibrant marriages. They think that marriage is boring and it's better to be able to just be out here in these streets doing what I do, quote unquote. Because then I can be with whoever I want to be with, and I ain't got these ball and chain. And, you know, if this person make me mad, I ain't got to be with them and all of the other. And it's funny because you have people in relationships that have been in relationships 10, 15, 20 years and still won't get married.
Why?
They don't think it's important.
I think because marriage isn't really taught correctly.
You're absolutely correct. But again, they've never seen a successful marriage.
So,
And some people are truly scared that if they get married, it's going to destroy what they have. I've heard that so many times. Like, marriage is going to destroy what the relationship that I already have, so I'm good with it.
so how about tomorrow? We come and talk about what marriage is
We can do that.
and what marriage isn't.
We can do that.
And then maybe that will help
Somebody.
in our Love is Naive community.
Cool beans.
So tomorrow we'll come back and we're going to talk about what love is, what love really is, what love truly is. So with that being said, we love y'all.
We do love y'all.
And we thank y'all for rocking out with us here on the Pastor's Q&A. So tomorrow, bring your single friends. And bring your married friends. Because believe it or not, I believe there's a lot of married people who don't know what true marriage really is. It sounds great. And I'm going to bring my Let's Get Married book. The book that pastors read from.
All right.
So
we love y'all, and we will see y'all tomorrow.
tomorrow,
We out.
we out.
You know that don't say love is naive. What did you say? No, I'm gonna need you to correct that because that makes it look like you don't know how to spell. Cause you've been saying love is naive all this time, and you got a whole
Look.
thumbnail that says love is